So find the gradient of y at the point where x equals 3. Now, what is this question asking me to do? Find the gradient. Now remember, gradient means differentiate. So differentiate dy by dx equals 9x squared minus 4x. Okay. At x equals 3, dy by dx is 9 lots of 3 squared minus 4 times 3. 3 squared is 9 times 9 is 81. 81 minus 12 is 69. Doing all that, that's what got me my achieve mark. Question B. The graph gx passes through 0, 0. Its gradient function is that. Find the y coordinate of the point on. It's quite a convoluted question, eh? Don't need that language, but what are you given? You are given. You're given g dash x. You're given g dash x, so you're going to have to find dx. All right, so let's integrate g dash x with respect to x. Okay, so we're going to integrate this. That becomes 7x. I'll call it gx equals 7x minus a half x squared over 2, which is actually just the same as minus x squared over 4. Is that it? Is that me anti-differentiating it? No, I'm missing out the plus c. If I had written down plus c, if I'd written this part here down, and I've got all that part there correct, that would be an achieved thing. If you didn't write the plus c and just wrote down x, 7x minus x squared over 4, that's not anti-differentiating it properly. You needed to do that plus c part to get your achieved. So some people missed out because of that. Okay. Goes through 0, 0. So you could say 0, 0 implies c equals 0. That's why you probably left it out. But you didn't say plus c, therefore you need. And then you should have gone g of 4 is 7 lots of 4, 28, minus 4 squared, 16 divided by 4 is 4. That's 28 minus 4, which gives me an answer of 24. And that there was a merit tick. If I had done that, indicates that c equals 0 and the 24. So those are the two things I needed for a merit tick. Now that one merit tick overall is going to count towards 5 points towards passing that paper. And you needed to get 7 points to pass the paper. Yeah, maybe. Any questions? Okay, so next one. The graph of that is a turning point at 3, -3, gradient. Find the gradient of the functions. What am I going to be able to, what am I asked to find eventually? Yeah, because it's asking me the gradient. So dy by dx is 2x squared plus p. Is that right? Okay. Is that it? What is it now? 2x squared plus p. Okay. So at x equals 4, dy by dx is 2x. So that's 2 lots of 4. 2 lots of 4 squared plus p. So 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32. So that's 32 plus p. All right. But we don't want p. It's got a turning point at 3, -3. So what does this here equal? What does this part here equal? When x equals, when x equals 3. Okay, so when x equals 3, there's a turning point. So 2x squared plus p equals 0, eh? That's the gradient function. So 2x squared, that's 2 lots of 3 squared, plus p is 0, so that's 9, that's 18, isn't it? 18 plus p equals 0, therefore p equals -18, which means up here 32 plus -18 is actually, well, it's right, 14. Can you see that? So again, all the way here is a metric. If you gave me that part there, that was the T. Okay? And that's not too tricky. It's got a turning point at 3. Remember, turning points, your gradient is 0. Okay? So if you set something like that up, then you're getting achieved. The question D here, a skier's distance from a row of spectators is given by that. Calculate the distance the skier is when a velocity is at a maximum. Okay, so what's the key word with this particular question? Maximum. So we're trying to maximize something. What are we going to do? Differentiate and make it 0. But what are we trying to maximize? Velocity. So we need to differentiate our velocity function and get that to equal 0. So in other words, when you are maximum velocity, what's your acceleration? 0, because you're no longer getting faster, are you? Because if you were getting faster, would it be your maximum? No. So, yeah. So here, velocity is going to be -3t squared plus 8t plus 11. Acceleration equals -6t plus 8. Okay. Now, acceleration is 0. That part there was your, sorry, just read. This part here is your achieved tick. Getting to the next step and going, well, 8 equals 6t divided by 6. And so you get t is 4/3. And 8 divided by 6 is the same as 4/3. That gave you your merit tick. And using that answer and substituting it back into this equation here, because you're trying to calculate the distance where it's your maximum. That was your excellence tick. This one here is another potentially easy excellence tick. If you understand x4 minus 8x squared plus 10, like that there's a graph, eh? It's next to the power of 4 graph. It's a graph like that. Okay, so where is this graph decreasing? Just looking at the graph, where is it decreasing? Decreasing to there, isn't it? And it's decreasing there, isn't it? There's going to be 2 points. All right. But when it's decreasing, and those points that I've marked on there, what are they? They are the turning points. So we've got a gradient function will be equal to 0. Now, if I've done that and I put equal to 0, that is your achieved tick. Okay, which is what everyone tried to do, but without writing down equal 0, you didn't get the mark. So you basically get, because we can all differentiate, you almost get an achieved tick just for that. Okay? Oh, is that what I told you to do? Funny that, eh? Thanks, Mr. Tommy, for hooking me up with a couple of marks. All right, how do I solve that one just there? Something equals 0. I've got to factorize that. Find factor of 4 leaves me with 4x into x squared minus 4. And then, well, that's just a quadratic that you know factorizes to, sorry, that should be a 2. 4x into x plus 2 and x minus 2. They equal 0. So my 3 equations, so my 3 turning points are when x equals -2, when x equals 0, and x equals 2. So just looking at my graph over here, that's -2, that's 0, and that's 2. For what values of x is g a decreasing function? Well, x has to be less than -2 and between 0 and 2. Okay? So that's the question. So I showed you where you got your G from. There was your excellence, and basically getting to there was your merit. Thank you. There's a few here. Both here. Any questions on that one? Okay. Sketch the gradient function. Lots of you guys didn't even see this one. Like, I tried to write this, and I tried to do it so that it was on 1A3 sheet, but on the right there, so there's stuff over here we have to do. So the key thing here, this part is my turning point. The gradient at my turning point is 0. It has to go through that point there. Okay? If it goes through that point there and is some sort of straight linear line, that gave you your achieved mark. Okay? If it goes, pardon? On the x-axis, sorry, on the y-axis. Yeah. So if it goes through any point on the y-axis, you can achieve. If it goes through that point and that one, that is your merit. Okay? And you're going to say, how do you get that? Here you go. So here's my vertex of my parabola. Okay? A normal parabola with a vertex there goes across one, up one, doesn't it? All right? A normal parabola goes across 2, up 4, doesn't it? Yep. So if this one here goes across 2, up 8. One goes across 2, up 8. So what sort of parabola is that? This one here is a y equals 2x squared parabola. Happy with that? When I differentiate 2x squared, what do I get? Hence what goes through there and there. Negative 2, 0. I said that before because there is the turning point just there, and the gradient at the turning point is 0. Okay, next one. Sorry, can you see the difference between achieved and merit there? Right? Did anyone get a merit for that one? This one here. Next one, not many. This question does not relate to 2 above. Sorry, to A above. So we're ignoring that now. We're just doing this one. Find the x-coordinate of the point on the graph of the function where the gradient is equal to 8. What am I going to be doing here? Why am I differentiating? Because it says the gradient equals 8. Okay, so I've got f dash x, which is negative 6 minus 14x. That's the gradient. That part there equals 8. Wonder where the 8 comes from. On the question, it's saying equal 8. So, no, from there, wait, nice, thank you. From there, you needed to be able to go negative 14x equals is positive 14. Divide by negative 14, and you get x equals negative 1. Okay. Happy with that? That was your achieved tick. A rectangular enclosure is to be constructed with a shed in the corner, 37 meters of fencing go around the perimeter, blah, blah, blah. Size of the shed will be fenced. We'll find the length of the enclosure. So find this part here. It gives the maximum area of the enclosure. The area is given by this. So there's the formula for the area. What are you trying to do here? No. What are you trying to do with this particular question? Find the maximum area. So you have to, in the end, you're going to have to find dA by dx. You're going to have to solve for when that equals 0. Okay, like a few things that hopefully you guys not just in Sydney just looking at me like I'm talking gibberish or whatever, just like maximum area. If you see in this test maximum area written down, what might you do? No, before even doing anything, you might actually write down, by writing that there down, you might actually satisfy some of the requirements for you to get an achieved tick. Okay? Right, it's gonna help you, hopefully. dA by dx means, hopefully you know that means differentiate, make it equal 0. What you had to do is you had to expand this out. That gave you an equation for negative x squared plus 14x plus 60. Area is that. So now dA by dx is negative 2x plus 14. So that's where it's, but remember I've got to make it equal 0. That equals 0. By writing those 3 pen strokes, what have I now got? Here is my achieved part. What is the part that I need? Those 3 pen marks there is the key. Yeah, you can redo it in a few weeks' time in the school exams. Negative 2x plus 14 equals 0. 14, sorry, negative 2x equals negative 14. Divide by negative 2, x equals 7. Is that my answer? No, because here's x, there's 4. Therefore, DC is 11 meters. Okay? There's my merit tick. Happy with that? Right, so what's the difference between achieved and merit? Reading the question and some, no, not really even high level thinking, just an algebra. Solve and substitute. So the difference between a merit and an achieved is not calculus, is your understanding of calculus, but it's not, all the maths is just algebra. This is the other one. Guys, this is the other one that really annoyed me on your behalf. Local minimum at 2, negative 8. Gradient is that. Find the equation of the function. So what am I asking you to do here, Giles? dy by dx equals that. What am I going to get you to do? And to differentiate. So that's going to become x cubed plus 3x squared minus 24x. Is that right? Oh, so you're telling me that plus c is important? That's an achieved tip. It's important, full stop. It shows you that you understand what's going on. That plus c gives you that achieved tip. Who did not do that? Pardon? So that there, like if you got, depends what you got for that question, last question, but if you got nothing correct, you might have got 1 point or 0 points. By getting that one thing there, it gives you an extra point. So overall, hopefully getting you towards an 8 or a 7 or 8, whatever it is. So how do I find that C here? Well, it goes through to 8, doesn't it? So I just write negative 8 equals 2 cubed, which is 8, plus 2 squared, 4 plus 3 is 12. 24 times 2 is 48. And I'm trying to solve for C there. So that gives me C is 20, and you got y equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus 24x plus 20. That is what you needed. You needed this part here for your merit. You needed that for your achieve. Okay. You guys happy with that? Next one. Find the velocity. Thank you. Height is that. Find the velocity. Now, seriously, there are some questions in here that you just need to know. This is one of them. This is going to be a gimme one. Height is, well, that's a distance equation. You want the velocity, so you have to differentiate. So velocity is 25 minus 4.9 times 2, 9.8 t. At t equals 2, v is 25 minus 9.8 times 2, which is 5.4. Now, someone did that math but did not do that calculation. You. Goober. Who else did it? Someone did the math but actually got a different answer. Did you do that math but got a different answer?
I did something. I did the math. I did something.
Okay. Calculate the maximum height that this. No, you don't need units, I don't think. Question 3. No, you don't need units.
I got it all right.
Okay, next one. Calculate the maximum height. Maximum height. So when the maximum height is when velocity is 0. So velocity is 0. So 25 minus 9.8t equals 0. So therefore 9.8t is the same as 25. Divide by 9.8. And you get an answer as t is 2.551 seconds. Or maybe it was that one. Did you do that? Is that your maths you did, but you didn't get an answer? Someone did that. I thought it might have been you. Yeah, was that you that did it? Yeah. Okay. Have I calculated the height?
No.
What have I calculated?
No.
The time when the maximum height is. So how am I going to get my answer? Substitute back into here. The height is going to be 25 lots of 2.551 minus 4.9, 2.551 squared. Gives you a maximum height of 31.89 meters. So units not needed. Again, the word maximum. There is your achieved tip. There is your merit tip. Okay. B, again, relatively straightforward in terms of your algebra that's required. The depth of snow is that after 6 a.m. What is the depth of snow changing at a rate of -2? So changing at a rate of -2. So that's just saying when dt, so d dash t is -2. When is it that? So if I differentiate that, I get -t plus 1. You're telling me that -t plus 1 is -2? Oh, so that means t must be, so -t is -3, so t is 3. Is that right? No time in context, therefore 9 a.m. because it's 3 hours after 6 a.m. That one there again. Here's your merit. There is your achievement. Differentiate and make it equal to -2. There is your achievement. Okay. So